Hello pirates, fishermen, and pirates who want to be fishermen. 6-3 here, and this video is going to give you 8 tips on how to master the new fishing aspect of Sea of Thieves. Whether you make it the feature of your evening, or just something to do in between islands, fishing is a great new way to have fun. Not everything in Sea of Thieves is very easy to do as a solo player, and when the rest of your crew is not online, fishing is a great way to spend your time. But watch out. Keeping your eyes on the rod too long can make you a vulnerable target on the high seas. Tip number 1. Catching the fish. So there are 4 ways to move your fishing rod: left, right, upwards, and down. You want to move your rod in the opposite way the fish is moving to tire it out so that you can reel it in. The fish will either move left, right, or swim straight away from you. While the fish is changing position, you want to focus on changing the angle of your rod to be the opposite, but you don't have to wait until the fish gets tired to begin reeling it in. Once the fish gets to the end of its new direction, you can reel in the fish in bursts of a few seconds each. You will be able to hear your fishing rod creaking, and if playing on console, the vibrations will become more intense. You can still gain significant ground reeling in the fish while it's fighting you, since it's possible to catch the fish while it's still fighting, allowing you to get the catch during the second nap or even sooner. You don't want to reel it in too much and risk breaking the line, but this will allow you to get your fish in quicker and avoid potential disruptions. Tip number 2. Leading off of the previous tip, when you do tire out the fish, which is your primary opportunity to reel the fish in, lowering your rod forward while you reel in will allow you to reel in the fish quicker, again allowing you to more quickly catch the fish, decreasing the likelihood that some threat comes along and causes you to lose your prized fish. Tip number 3. This is more of a myth busting of sorts, but it will at least put your mind at ease for the future. When you originally throw out your line, you can actually reel it in about 1.5 turns before the line picks up out of the water. If you do reel in the 1.5 turns and then a fish grabs the line, you won't be reeling in the fish any quicker than if you didn't. When the fish grabs the line, it pulls the line out the same distance every time. You need 12 turns on the reel to catch your fish, and it stays at 12 whether you pull in the 1.5 before the fish grabs the line or not. Again, while experimenting with how to be the most efficient and trying to cut corners, this came to mind, but don't waste your time on this one. Tip number 4. Line placement. While you can break your line and lose your fish and bait if you pull in the wrong direction or try to reel in the fish too much while it's still fighting, there are other ways to lose a fish, and I want to help you to not do them so that you don't lose a rare trophy fish. Fishing into a small body of water. If the fish runs into any land at any point, you will instantly lose your fish. Likewise, if the fish runs into your ship at any point, you will also lose the fish. Also, fishing too close to the poles on the dock. As your fish begins to be reeled in, it will move further to the left and right as it fights you, and if your line runs into one of the posts on the dock, it will break and you will lose everything. This can be especially tricky because it may seem as though your line is clear when the fish first grabs the line, but it will sway more and more as you bring the fish in. Tip number 5. Sunken shipwrecks. While many people had typically avoided these previously, since the anniversary update, these have become a lucrative find amongst the seas. While you can still come across the scattered loot and general supplies within a shipwreck, they are also stocked with bait as well as uncooked and cooked fish. Some cooked fish found within the shipwreck can sell for several thousand gold, and this, in addition to the normal loot, provide a decent amount of gold for the low amount of effort. Tip number 6. While this may seem obvious, you don't actually need bait on your rod in order to fish. You only need bait in order to increase the likelihood of catching specific fish who are attracted to a certain bait. But while you do have bait on your line, there's still a chance that you can catch fish whom you do not need bait on your line in order to catch. As you become more familiar with the fish, if you can spot which type of fish is coming up to your line, you can reel your line back in ahead of time if you don't like the type of fish that has come by, thus saving you from wasting bait. Not that bait is very difficult to come by, but since you can only carry 10, and if you have a full crew all fishing at the same time, you can end up going through bait pretty quickly and save yourself from having to make a trip just to resupply. Tip number 7. Cooking your fish. Cooking the fish is a fairly simple process and shouldn't be very difficult to master. The fish in the pan will turn white, and then you will see a puff of white smoke, and the fish will turn brown, and that's how you know they are cooked. There are 4 different types of meats to be cooked. That is your basic fish, which takes 45 seconds to cook, the basic animals such as shark, snake, pig, and chicken, which take 1 minute and 5 seconds to cook, the trophy fish, which take 1 minute and 35 seconds to cook, and lastly the monster meats, which are the kraken and megalodon meats, and then take a whopping 2 minutes and 5 seconds to cook. While 2 minutes is a long time to stare at a stovetop, don't wander too far, as all these edibles have their value dropped by at least 90% when they are burned, and then all of your time is for naught. One last thing about cooking: while you do get more gold and rep for a cooked fish rather than raw, there is not a commendation specific for cooked fish. The only commendation is for cooking the other meats such as snake, shark, pig, chicken, kraken, and megalodon. Tip number 8. Strategically fishing. There are 10 different types of fish, and in the description of the baits it tells you which ones are used to attract which types of fish. 7 fish require baits and 3 do not. There is a fish type for each of the 4 main regions: the wilds, shores of plenty, ancient isles, and the devil's roar, which all require bait. There's also baited fish for certain special encounters such as shipwrecks, active forts and skeleton ships, and in storms. In order to increase the likelihood of getting a baited fish rather than a very common non-baited fish, fish in locations where 2 baited fish overlap. For example, since ancient scale and stormfish both use leeches as bait, you could fish in a storm in the ancient isles to improve your odds at not having a simple non-baited splashtail come along and waste your time. The wrecker, wild splash, and plentifin all use worms as bait, so fishing at shipwrecks in the shores of plenty or the wilds will give you the same result. And lastly, the battlegill and devilfish both use grubs as bait, so fishing at the active molten sand skeleton fort or during a skeleton ship encounter in the Devil's Roar will overlap those 2 fish. Alternatively, you can do the opposite of this if you are specifically trying to hunt one type of fish. Just know you will encounter many more splashtails along the way. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that each of the 10 different types of fish have 4 different levels of rarity, and then they also have a nighttime variant. The nighttime variant is fairly common and sells for about the same price as the level 2 rarity version of that fish. I'm not going to list them all because all 10 kinds of fish have different names for each level and it's too much to memorize. The Sea of Thieves fishing wiki page lists all the rarity types of the fish and how much they and their trophy versions sell for both raw and cooked. Make sure if you liked the video and learned something today to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.